And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylics. Ginger.
Hey, John, are we on now?
I think we're on. I think Sammy's done. Yeah, I think the mics are on. I think Sammy's done his little bit. I think we're live and in person.
Oh, we got the pipe. Yes, Sammy's done his bit. Honestly, that is so great. Hi, you guys, we're on time. Woo-hoo.
Wait, are we on time? We are exactly on time, people.
Look at that. Wow.
Okay, this will not happen again. We promise.
Here. Remember that? Come on. You guys must remember that. This is just somebody actually wrote us a comment in the commenting things on YouTube and said we really just want to hear how it used to be. And when she must have been 20 or just hear how it used to be. Well, sometimes there were some good stuff, you guys. So that being said, we got some good stuff. Sometimes these old things are good. We're going to be doing a master painting tonight by Monet. Shout out to Judy Guitar, who so
it was a test. It was strictly a test to see if anybody's paying attention to us.
I typed it in this morning. It was early. Just luckily, I got anything up at all. I think I said it was a Renoir. It's really a Monet. And the reason this is so cool is we've already done one. And if you haven't done it, you can do it. The nicest thing about doing paintings, if you can do pairs of things, you can hang them on the wall. It makes a nice set, as opposed to, say, an individual watermelon and then an individual cow or something. You have pairs of things. It makes it nice for nice decor, and also people will tend to have a tendency to buy in pairs. Now, if you paint this and you want to put it up on your YouTube, your Facebook page, or up on Etsy and sell it, that's fine with us. We're happy that you did it. Anytime you want to give us credit for teaching you how to do something, we appreciate it. But, we want you to win here. The idea behind these art lessons is so that you guys become better artists and just have fun doing it. And sometimes if you take the angst, the struggle out of it, then it becomes more fun. And also, I want to say something here while we're doing this, is that if you haven't subscribed to our channel, that's what makes it fun for us when our subscriptions go up. And they're not going up, you guys. And 50% of the people that watch this stuff, generally aren't subscribing on anybody's channel, about half the viewers. We would appreciate our half of the viewers to love us and subscribe, you guys.
To bill you up to the bar, or we're going to start singing again. We did that a couple weeks ago. And
what was the Alice's Restaurant, right?
Oh, yeah, Alice's Restaurant.
I never heard that song before today. Isn't that terrible, John?
I cannot believe that. That is a classic.
I know. We listened to the
you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant.
Yeah, so we listened to the whole
8
thing
by
about
10
that.
color glossies with pictures and arrows and diagrams on the back and everything. Oh, I love that song.
Apparently, yeah. So anyway, John knows that.
Hey, we want to thank Brian for right off the bat making a nice donation. We appreciate that.
Brian, thank you so much. And listen, we give a shout out to all our friends who are joining us today. We got Sue and Kathy and let's see, we had a pile of people that
Lori
and
we have Kim Song.
Kim Song's here.
And
there's this running joke we have about I'm never saying her name correctly. I'm just it'll be terrible. But you know what? I've actually had the experience, and it wasn't an age thing, because I can remember being in my 30s and having people over at a party, a big party, and going to introduce somebody. I had no idea who I was introducing. I was going, in fact, my neighbors, true story, my neighbors actually used to hide their Christmas presents at our house because they had little kids. And then in repayment, they would invite us over. We never saw them the whole year, right next door, but we went to their New Year's, Christmas Eve party every year for like about 12 years. And I couldn't have picked their children out in a lineup. I'm not kidding. Nor their names. Terrible. Anyway, so that's just me. It's just one of those things. So let's just get right down to brass tacks
Well,
here.
let me slide you up in the corner here where you belong.
Yeah, let's just get down to brass tacks and start talking about this. I originally said, I lied, I'm sorry. Said I was going to do this at 8 by 10. It really needs to be a 9 by 12. However, the first one we did, this is the one I'm talking about. This is Monet's houses. This was a lesson that's currently on YouTube. We'll iCard this. This is a great lesson, but now I want you to see, this is what we're painting tonight. See how beautifully these are going together. So if you want to do it at 8 by 10, you could. I'm going to do it 9 by 12. It'll be a little easier for you to see. And also I think it kind of fits a little better. We'll make some little adjustments here. You know, nothing is ever quite the right measurement, so we're going to fudge that a little bit when we do that. But
since we started on time tonight, can we request more stories and art trivia tonight?
yeah, we can do some stories.
You
for
can
sure.
certainly request anything you want, whether we do it or not.
Yeah, you know, and of course, you know me, I get going on these stories, right? Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah.
I get going on stories. I'm certainly happy. So anyway, we're going to be doing, we're going to focus a lot on the masters and how you can learn from the masters while we're putting paint out. I want you to know that this is a master artist. This was last week's, this current last week's lesson on our website. And this was an artist. I'm going to put a paint out as we're talking. This is a guy named, Chardon, okay, Chardon. And you've seen him before. He's adorable. We're going to talk about him tomorrow night. We're going to talk all about Chardon. And he was 100 years before Renoir and those guys. And he was a master painter, absolutely fantastic painter. And one of the things I try to focus on gingercooklive.gallery for our members is the fact that we do, you know, a lot of current paintings, but we also focus on the masters. And this is and we have 1, 2, and 3 cooking lessons. Some of you may remember, let me just wipe my yellow off my fingers here. Some of you may remember this one of his. That's another one of Chardon's. And again, everybody thinks about Van Gogh and Monet and Renoir, but there were a lot of old dead guys running around over there in Europe.
Old dead guys running around. Let's just think about it. I think those are called zombies. I could be wrong on that.
Zombie artists, right? Oh, that'd be
That's
good.
it.
That's what we want to do.
We're going to do zombie
artist
artists.
show. Yeah. Oh,
That's
gosh,
the name
I
of the
love
new
it.
show, Zombie Artists.
And then here's a new one that's going to be coming out in a few weeks for our members, which is 2 cookies. You see, so it kind of builds you up on this stuff. But anyway, we're going to talk about all that tomorrow night. I want you to know that. We're going to get down into the nitty-gritty, really look at his paintings to see what we have done, you know, what's been done with them. And let's see, I'm still putting out paint. The only thing I might do a little differently tonight, I probably won't use any of the ultramarine blue. I wouldn't put it out if I were you, just kind of watch and see it. Do you guys know that the easiest way to really get the most out of any of these tutorials, whether they're on our website or whether they're on YouTube, is to just watch the whole thing through, get the general sense of it, and then do it. Because one thing about it, it saves you a lot of time. I change my mind all the time. You watch the whole thing through. Oh yeah, I remember, I shouldn't do that. She changed her mind and scrubbed that whole thing out. It'll save you hours, really. You think it's a time saver to not do that. Now we're going to put, peel some big nice bunch of white paint. And Daniel Elliott wanted to thank everybody for the nice participation he had the other night. The first weekend of this month in September, we had Daniel Elliott, the manager of Jerry's Artorama, and he was here. This is raw umber, by the way. I'm putting it right next to burnt umber. Raw umber is a translucent color. It's extremely translucent, meaning you can kind of see through it. I want to just explain some of the terms because I know I speak very quickly. I know that. And sometimes it just seems like somebody's just plugged me in. And when somebody's listening with a second language, and English is their second language, they're going, what did she say? If she would just slow down. One of my good friends, Gudrun, what was Gudrun's last name? See, this is terrible. Good friends couldn't even tell you her last name. Lived in Houston for a long time, but was from Germany. And she said that she felt she really could speak English when she finally understood anything I said. because I talked so fast. She said she really felt like she had the English language down.
You just need to slow down.
I know, slow down. It's like the Beatles. Slow down, you're going too fast. Remember that one?
Yeah, see? Okay, we are going to start singing, people. We're
Yeah,
looking for
more
50,000.
subscribers, or it could happen.
We're just warming up.
We're just warming up.
Let's see where our
yeah.
count's at right now, 41,438.
Come on, you guys. And then like the video, too. That's the other thing, see? This is the thing. And then call up your friends and say, hey, Ginger needs some more subscribers. Do her a favor. Just subscribe. Who will know? No, they won't send you any emails.
You can even turn off the notifications so you don't even have to know.
Yeah, just...
You can subscribe and pretend like you haven't subscribed.
Yeah, but but if you did have a notification, if you turned on that little bell, then when we go live, sometimes we surprise you and go live. Though honestly, we have been so busy this last few weeks. I was up till 1 in the morning last night.
Yes,
painting.
you were. We did the Wave and Water. That's a gorgeous one.
I'll show you that too. We have a Wave and Water masterclass. Incidentally, I've sanded this canvas and I'm going to use
the Beatles did not sing that song, whatever song that one you thought the Beatles did.
No?
I don't know who did.
Well, I mean, I thought, gosh.
Hey, if it's not the Beatles, they didn't sing it. Our music knowledge is just beginning.
Oh, that was Simon and Garfunkel. Slow down, you're going too fast.
Yeah, that's Simon.
That was Simon and Garfunkel. See, I do kind of remember some of that stuff. Not just all sort of. I went through the 60s in a haze, but not drug induced. How's that? Just so out of it with other stuff, right? Very busy person in the 60s. Couldn't tell you what happened.
Indeed,
well,
indeed.
I was married to Cinnamon's dad. Okay.
Enough said.
Yeah, well, we have some stories. Let's throw this man under the bus. That's always fun. He was 27, I was 18, just turned 18 when we got married, right? And he used to say things like, well, I used to do that dumb stuff when I was your age, but he was always saying that stuff. Or he'd say things like, wait till you get to me at my age, and you'll see how we're falling apart here. I never intend to fall apart. What is your deal here? And also, he was one of these people. We'll talk about him as we paint this. We need a sky here. We're going to need an underpainting. So start with white, and we're going to take a little bit of phthalo blue, like that, and a tiny bit of yellow, just a little bit. We want sort of this turquoisey sky, and a little tiny bit of magenta. That's one of the colors we want. Now I don't want a pink sky, so that's like one drop of that. A little more phthalo, okay. A little bit of the raw umber or burnt umber, either one if you have it. Okay, and let's put a little bit more blue. There we go. Now I'm going to just sort of scrape and squish this color. Like that, scrape and squish. Now, I was watching Daniel mix paint, and, I love him, but gosh, he was making me crazy. No wonder he broke. I have never broken a palette knife in my life, and I've done a lot of palette knife paintings. What is he talking about? He breaks palette knives, just wow, So, afraid he's going to poke holes in the canvas. Good grief, relax a little bit. I know I talk fast, but I'm not just pounding.
Talk fast? I really think that's the understatement.
You think so? I'm trying to slow down. So I was trying. Well, I have so much to tell you in this short amount of time.
Speaking of short amount of time.
Yep.
Storms are running through here in the Houston area, and electricity blinked once during dinner. So if we disappear, I'm just saying.
Good luck with that. All right, got this big brush. This is one of Cinnamon's. I like it. It's a number, whatever this is, 30.
30.
Number 30. It's equivalent to...
inch and a half. Inch and a quarter.
Inch and a half, yeah. The other one I might have. I don't know if I have anything. In the ruby satin silvers, I think I have. The biggest one I have is, I think it's a little bit bigger than this one, see? So when you're doing a painting this size, the advantage of that, here's the advantages and disadvantages of using a bigger brush on a small canvas. Of course, on a big canvas like the one behind me, this would be perfect. When you use a big brush, it takes up a lot of paint. It eats up paint. And a lot of it just stays in the brush because this brush really holds paint well. So it's a time factor, really. For us, it's a time factor. We're going to cover this canvas like this very quickly, see?
Because it's a time factor. I like that other brush you had.
And it's going to cover it very quickly. And I mean, really fast, but it's also going to eat up a lot of paint.
I have a couple questions as we're going, as you're doing the background. Come on, this is like watching grass grow here.
Yeah, what's the questions? Yeah.
Can you do a video for Monet's water lilies?
Well, we have those on our website.
Yes, we do.
You guys, we have it. If you're a member of our Wave and Water Masterclass, We have some beautiful Monet water lilies on there, and some with a palette knife and everything. And of course, here's the deal. Monet did about 100, 300 of those water lilies. So I've got I had a giant book. I find it recently, a big giant book on those. And I've seen, some years ago, back in about, I don't know, Cinnamon was still in college, and we went down to the museum in Houston, the Manil, and they had a big exhibition of his. And he had some paintings that were so big they were, well, how big is the wall in my living room, John? Almost downstairs, like, I don't know measurements, but huge, like 100 feet tall canvases. And his studio in his house was like a giant barn, and he would do these giant to get on a ladder and scaffolding and do these great big paintings. And sometimes when you just imagine the scope of these, now we're bringing them back down to a smaller size, and they lose a little in the translation. But we do have a very nice, it's old, I'm sorry, it's one of our first ones on YouTube, it's very popular. It is a nice, it's not totally his style, but there is a very nice Monet, not Monet, but there is a very nice water lily painting on YouTube that we have, if you haven't seen that tutorial. The camera, it's like one of our first cameras, like a $100 camera or something, and so the quality of the video isn't that great. Hey, you guys want to see a neat trick? Well, I throw my ex-husband under the bus. That's always fun, right? Because we were talking about getting married at 17. He was 27, okay? And so we had gone up to see my parents in Seattle when I turned 18. Yeah, so that should tell you something. We went up to see them. I had gotten out of college, had gone to 1 year at Arizona State, and I'd gone to school early, and I met him over a skiing vacation. And anyway, we hit it off. I got to say it that way. Now look, I took a paper towel, a little bit of water on it, and then look at this. I want you to see how cool this is. I discovered this yesterday. I was just thinking, always learning new things. Look how that just covers the edges. How fast is that? Is that not nice? I mean, you just boom, boom, and you're done. All right, just thought you should see that. It's really kind of nice. Right. So anyway, we had gone up to see my parents, and then subsequently we had gotten. So I got married, very shortly after that. We had a kind of a neat wedding, and Cinnamon came along about 5 years later. And so we had about 5 years together to just fight like cats and dogs. It's a wonder we ever stayed together. But, in those days, people weren't divorcing quite as often, but just probably should have gotten out when the getting was good. But because we really were not compatible. He had Asperger's, which I didn't understand, so it was very odd. And I just did not understand that. But, a lot of positive things in his favor. Was extremely smart. I always like smart people. John is really smart. We're going to dry this with a hairdryer. Yeah?
Okay, a couple more before you do that.
Sure.
Cheryl made a comment, I'm doing the class to learn a little more about their left-hand aspect.
What class?
I think our class? I don't know.
Well, I'm right-handed. Daniel was left-handed, and so we were talking about Daniel earlier, and he was, doing his palette knife left-handed, and he was also doing the clouds left-handed, and you don't see a lot of examples of how to paint left-handed, though I have a video which we have to publish, remember? With our left hand, we've got that with Terry.
I've just been sitting around doing nothing, eating bonbons all day.
I know.
You would think I would be working, but Sammy and I, we got those bonbons out, and we're just eating them all day long.
I know. You have bonbons and you're not sharing? Oh,
of course not. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
We share. Now, wait. There's still another question.
Oh.
John, will there be a tutorial on any of those Christmas scenery pictures on square canvases you showed us a little while ago? They looked amazing in my room in a month.
Yes, they are available for sale. The Christmas, our Christmas village pieces. We'll show you guys those later in a little bit, and they are for sale. We don't.
Oh no, John, it was another class, I think. Well, anyways, I'm not sure why the question then for us, but
we have it. All right.
Maybe Cheryl will write back and explain a little more.
All right, I'm gonna close.
Oh, so now you want me to? Hey!
What? No.
I needed to turn you off.
Really? Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. Go. You're muted now. It's a good thing. All right, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us this evening. I hope everything is going well with those in Florida. I know my sister's down there, and I saw that she has electric back, and the floodwaters have subsided. I have a couple of friends over in Fort Myers, and they just got home. They were still without electric, but I believe it's probably about by now. And she's not done. So, other than that, I think we're doing pretty good all in all. We are making some changes to the website. For those of you that are struggling with finding things, please write us. Use the contact us form if you're struggling. The, what's the word I'm looking for? The search works quite well. Just give it a word or two and it will find it, usually.
Okay. Are we back? Have you unmuted me?
Only I will know for sure.
Well, better do it soon, kid. All right, so we're going to talk about this painting. This is the one we're doing, this Monet, this one right here, okay? Now, here's the black and white copy of this. Now, I want you to notice something. This is really important. This is like, if you never saw another thing on this, this would be worth having hung out with us for and subscribe to our channel, just for this one piece of information. Ready for this?
I'm ready.
Now, you'll notice the light, your center of interest, or the stuff you're talking about. In other words, if you were writing a book, it would be your heroine or your hero. It's your main character. There's a plot and there's a cast, right? And like in a movie and a play. So your center of interest is that all paintings have something that you're focused on. In other words, you're talking about this, and all the other elements are for the main thing. They're just sort of clapping for the main thing. So and where you want it is your lightest light and your darkest dark. Okay, get that? Your lightest light and your darkest dark is where you want the contrast in your center of interest. And you'll notice that it's right here. And I don't mean it's in the middle of the picture either. If we were to take, let's we do a tic-tac-toe board here, like this. Here's our tic-tac-toe board. The center of interest is right here. See
I'll
that?
put an X in the middle.
Okay, right there, center of interest, right there. And that's this dark area right here with the tree, even though in the picture, guys, it's green. See that? This green is actually darker than these greens, see? And it's also, and then we have some white next to it, this light color, and that's going to bring our eye in right here. So you want to be, and you'll notice that these boats, this is important, these boats are an off-white color, all right? So they're not white. Here's a rag, see? See, this is white, that is not white. Okay? Some people don't realize that. You know, when they're looking at there's a white sail. No, it's not.
No.
So now that we have this, now that we've established.
Wow, the ground rules. These are the ground rules before you can paint this.
Yeah, it's just, I love to say that. Now we've established that. Years ago, Cinnamon was, when she was 16, I'm going to throw her under the bus too. I'm just in the mood tonight. When she was 16, she was just, I had been on her case about cleaning her room since she was like 5, and I got nowhere, okay?
And you're still doing it.
But I just never did. And anyway, so she was a very good kid, and she'd come up to me and said, I don't know why you're always complaining about my room, okay? She says, because she says, I don't do drugs, and she says, I get straight A's, and she listed all her sterling qualities, which there were lots, right? And she said she just thought I had a lot of nerve just hacking about her room. And then I told her, I said, well, I said, that's true. I said, and your dad and I aren't robbing banks, and we're not doing wife swapping, and everybody's providing for the family here. And so now we've established we're all good people. Please go clean your room. And she stopped off. I remember that. I thought that was a great line, though. I'm sorry. Still one of my
Hey, John,
better
when will the
arguments.
horse be released?
What horse?
The horse is running through the water. I knew you should never have shown that one.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. We just. You know what? Here's the thing.
Here's an excuse.
Here's an excuse. All right, I want to just get into this here. It's about a hands up here, right?
Hands up.
Hands up from here. This is our horizon line, kind of where our what we've got like a triangle that's coming down here like this, and then a little bit under here like that. So like a little triangle, and it's coming out about. Where did my little where did the other piece of paper go? This one, right? So we've got this as, you'll notice that if this were half the canvas like this is half, like that, there's half. You see it's coming out, and here's half here. It's coming out a little bit past half with our, just a little bit past half with our little island here of stuff where our house is, okay? So, you know, now that we know that, because this little wedge, this is a really simple painting to do. You're going to get this easily, okay? How's that? And I think we're going to start off with, we're going to mix a darker gray for the sky, and then we're going to come up here, and John, I can be answering questions while we do this. I'm going to take a little bit of burnt umber with that, a little bit of white, a little bit of magenta, a little bit of ultramarine blue. I think I want some cad red medium. You know what? I was just going to put out fewer colors, but I'm just going to make life simple. Put out some cad red medium too. I'm using a combination of Matisse, golden, and Liquitex colors. Here's a little cad red medium, a little more blue, ultramarine blue, because I want this sort of, a little bit more of the brown. I want this sort of dark sky here, all right? Now, I want to come up here using an angle brush, this gray color. See, this is almost a purpley gray color.
Wait. Is that an angle brush?
Yes, it is. It's actually,
wow, what size is that?
That's a 3/4 inch angle brush.
Oh, that's why I got that one for you.
Yeah, that's a 3/4 inch angle brush. Now we're going to come across here like this.
Yes, this is a 9 by 12.
Brush strokes, and I'm going to miss the paint a little bit. Not my brush, but I'm going to miss the paint a little bit, and I'm going to come this way with this. Grab a little more white, and now as I'm doing this, now the brush is going flat. See that? And I'm going to start pulling in some of this gray sky here. A little bit more white. So I'm going to lighten up that here and like that. There we go. Just want you to see I'm going back and forth. And if some of this light blue shows through, that's perfect. We absolutely are happy with that. And as we come down into our, as we come down toward our horizon, it's sort of this cloud bank. So we're using this big little angle brush. I like it because we can go back and forth like this and still have our, you know, blue sky like that. Maybe leave a couple little holes in here like that. That's sort of pretty. Then we'll take a little bit of this white color, come up kind of where our houses are going to be here. So we're just going to overlap where the houses are going to be. Just sort of paint all that in. Yeah. Charlotte
has a comment that I have a hard time painting impressionistic. It ends up looking realistic.
Well, you know, that's really, I think people think realism is the hardest thing to do. It's actually the easiest thing because your mind wants to make it real. It's very hard to just walk away, do 2 or 3 brush strokes and walk away and say this is what it is. Now you have to appreciate that these guys were lugging all this junk out, to all their paints and everything, out on location. So they took a few colors, they went out there and nothing dried, okay? So it's a little bit more white back here, and some of this gray color. But this is our, there we go, just something above here like this.
Stephanie's asking, ask Ginger to tell the story about Mary's house.
Oh yeah, Mary's house. So anyway,
who's Mary?
Yeah. Well, some years ago, Cinnamon and I went to France, and I rented a house, and we stayed for a couple months, and both of us were painting and driving around and, you know, getting all inspired. It was really fun. Okay, see that? Now, I'm going to just take a little ultramarine blue now and a little bit of white and a tiny bit of cad red medium, just a touch like that. And I'm going to come in here like this, and I'm going to put a little bit, just using this angle. This is why I like the angle. I want it a little bit bluer, maybe a tiny bit of phthalo with that too. Probably what they used was a cobalt, and we're sort of making a similar color. Come up here like this. Now look here, I'm going to break up the sky again using these small little stuff. So anyway, we went over there, it was in 2000. We went to France, and people were extremely nice to us. I mean, really, really nice, and we got to be friends with a lot of French people. And Mary, everybody says, well, have you met Mary? And we're going, who's Mary? Well, she's that American pastel artist. I said, no, do you know her? I said, no, we don't know her. And he says, well, you got to see her house. And so as we were driving down the mountain, there was this gorgeous piece of property, I mean, like a park, and this old French manor, I mean, not like a castle or anything, but kind of countrified. and it's stone gates and flowers and roses, and it was stunning. And she said that's the house of Mary, and she has Americans come there in the summertime, and they do. She holds pastel classes and stuff, and she does kind of workshops. And I mean, it was gorgeous. That was so. It was just we hadn't met her, and so we finally found out she was in town. So one of our friends, French friends, that knew her. Now we're getting a little phthalo. Now we're going to come in here just a touch with some phthalo. Now look what we're doing here, like that. Just kind of adding a little phthalo to that. Everybody thinks everything's just kind of one color, but it never is. All right. So that's going to be our sky. And then if I'm long as doing that, let's just start taking some of these colors and putting them in the water, as we're talking. So anyway, we finally got somebody that knew somebody knew somebody. We finally, I think we just stopped in to see her. We heard she was there and we stopped in, and she was really nice. I mean, really nice. But oh man, were we jealous of that. I mean, this whole setup she had. Her husband was an architect. They'd taken this old house and turned it into, really nice on the inside, and she was all set up for classes, and she had this phenomenal garden. And please keep everything level when you're doing this. And we used to walk, drive past her house in the mountains and go, Mary, I just couldn't believe this. And she was really sweet. I mean, a really, really nice person. But both Cinnamon and I were just blown away by this woman's house. But now subsequently, I would say this, that I wouldn't really want to own a house in one place. I think if I was doing seminars, I mean, someday Sim and I talked about it, someday, Shimon will do some of the stuff, but if you own a place, then everybody has to go there, and it's more interesting to have different places to go. When one time you're in Hawaii, another time you're, up in Maine, or, I'd rather do that than every year feel like I had to go take care of my house in France. So that's, all right, now you see how we're keeping all the brush strokes clean. And they're just, if you'll look at this, these are pretty wide. I'm pushing pretty flat here. Then I'll take a little bit of white like this, and a little ultramarine blue, and a little tiny bit of phthalo. Brighten this guy up just a little bit, this water up. We're going to do a little tiny bit of contrast here. Here, let's see, a little bit more blue and blue. These two blues together. Tiny bit of raw umber, maybe, kind of tone that down. Here we go. See, a little bit darker, like in a few places. See what, you can hardly see it, can you? But that's what we're doing. We're just saying that there's these different, it's subtle. There are these different colors of blue in here. People wouldn't believe that there was that many colors of blue. And then we'll add a few little more to the sky. So anyway, we talked about that. What would it be like to have a place like that? But it was gorgeous. Absolutely like something out of a picture book. So pretty. All right, so our next thing we're going to be putting in is our land stuff here. So I'm going to just start with a little ultramarine blue, a little burnt umber, a tiny bit of yellow.
Hey, Sue would like to know, do small paintings sell as well as large paintings?
No. No.
Well, there's a short answer for you.
No, they don't, and here's why. Small paintings, the reason we do small paintings, 8 by 10, this stuff's not inexpensive. Paint costs money. Good materials cost money. You do a giant big painting and screw it up. You've got, $20, $30 in paint, finding out that it didn't work out. I mean, I always laugh at people who say, well, your classes are, really pricey on your channel. They're under $30 a month. And that's not even the cost of paint and canvas for one large painting. When I see that the number of paintings that people go through, and if you keep it small, you can learn how to paint something and get it down, then paint something bigger. But the answer to your question as far as that goes is that what happens is that it's a perceived value, Sue. It's a perceived value. So someone can go to, say a place like, say, Bed Bath & Beyond, or which is like one of our big box stores here in Penny's or someplace, and they can buy a little print, and it's usually small. And so they're going to buy a print. So if they're going to buy a painting, right, they want something that's large enough to go over the sofa. Does that make sense? They want to be able to go over the sofa with it, and which is understandably, the next place people, it's either two paintings, probably 16 by 20 if you did two of them. This is our newest Wave and Water. Can you, oops, I just moved that.
Man.
Sorry, is it okay?
I don't know, it's still work.
Yeah. So here's our Wave and Water Masterclass
Wait. You know, advance warning. I have to back things up. I got to move things around.
Back it up.
Okay, put it down now.
All right, here's our Wave and Water Masterclass. This is our, once a month we release a painting for our Masterclass. That's our Wave and Water Masterclass. This is 16 by 20. And that's fine if you were to do a pair or something. But if you wanted something like this, if you would do it 30 by 40, it would sell better.
Right.
Okay, that's
Unless
just the
you
way
had
it
a pair.
is. It just would sell better. But you can learn how to paint it smaller. But the larger paintings are, actually sell better, and you can command more money for them for the most part. But on the other hand, there's shipping. If you get it too big, then you're talking about art galleries. Art galleries generally want, a little kind of variety of both. Now I'm going to add a little more yellow to this, and a little magenta to that, and just sort of tone down that green, kind of this lime green color, kind of this green color here. And I'm going to just come along here and tap on some lighter green on the shore, like this, and come down this way. But this is kind of comes this way behind our boats, all right, like that. And I think that's pretty good. And then I've got to put the houses in too. So I don't want to go too far with this because the houses are in. There's a little, kind of a little bush here like that coming this way. See, I like this brush because see, I'm able to just kind of tap in a little bush. Now, we've got a nice tall tree. Let's see if I can take a little piece of
So
chalk.
did you decide when we're doing the horse?
Oh, the horse. Yeah, we're okay. So the reason this came up was because you keep asking me like 6 questions. It's not fair. So the reason this came up with the horse, we like the horse. We want to do the horse. The problem with the horse is that it needs to be filmed here where I'm filming with you. All right, and that's hours of editing for John. When I film it over in our other studio, it's not such a big deal. But when I film it here, like we filmed that all day yesterday. That Wave and Water that took about 5 hours to paint that. It was up, Now John will have another probably 10 hours in it, getting it ready to put on it for our monthly stuff. It's not just film something, throw it up on the website. This is actually there's some real thought that goes into these things. All right, so we're going to say here's a tree coming up like this. Here's a little Monopoly house here, like this.
So we're thinking maybe bush. October or November.
Yeah, but we'll definitely have December. It'll be before the end of the year. I'm going to make this house a little higher. Okay, like that. Bring this over here, like this, maybe. Okay, here's house. Okay, here's tree. And that's where our boats are. You're going, what? What was that? Well, I mean, okay. You're talking about. It's a Monopoly house, you guys. Yeah? Okay. Then there's some sort of little tree in front of it. And then there's another little house here you barely see. You don't see the roof. And then there's another one. Let's see, you either got a tree here, see, like that. Then you're indicating some sort of little house here, and then you got more bush. So, and it's kind of the sloping up like that. Okay, so that's what you're drawing, in case you were wondering what you were putting in there. So I'm going to put that brush in water and get a small one.
Charlotte's just trying to confirm. So the water is lighter shades of the sky?
Yeah, the water's lighter shades of the sky. And we haven't finished it either. It's still a little blue. We haven't put any of the reflections in. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it depends on the day. Sometimes the water's darker. It depends what it's reflecting. It's just, but in his case, we're doing whatever he did. This is what he said happened, and that's what we're doing. Right?
He was a master. We're just following him.
We're just saying whatever he did, we're going with it. How's that? Now I've got a little bit of yellow here and a tiny bit of cad yellow medium. All right, like that. Now if I add just a drop of purple to that, like less than 1%, that sort of browns that out a little bit. I want to come up here on the roof of this house, and I'm going to say here's our okay, this is a fairly tall house here too. Let's see, let me just put that one in water.
It almost looks like a barn being that tall.
It looks almost like a barn, doesn't it? Well, boathouse or something. So I'm going to come up here with a smaller one. Here's our red under here like that. Here's this end of it, and then we're going to bring it down like that. and like this, okay? And then let's just paint this in with a little white and orange and yellow. And we're just going to say here's our house right here, like that. Now what happened here is that, and we'll get into the shading of that. Now there's a little tree here, and then over here is another roof like this over here on this house. I'm going to just put this in here like this. Here's another little house right here. Okay, there's a little white on the roof here, a little more yellow. All right, so that's, and then down here, let's take a little bit of brown with that, and just see so back under here, there's this tree, but this side of the house, let's see, I want a little bit of maybe just brown. There we go. This inside of the house is brown. And there doesn't look like there's enough difference there. Let's put a little white with that, maybe a little yellow oxide. Definitely is not quite the color I want.
Oh, I see we have a question. How do you ship a painting? You'll be happy to know that Sammy and I have done the shooting of how to ship a painting, and we will have that posted on the Tech Bears website, YouTube channel, hopefully soon.
Yeah,
we're not going to do fancy editing on his stuff. He's just a bear. Come on.
So the thing about mailing anything to anybody, and I think I got into some blue here. I'm going to have to dry that, John. I can't wipe that off. I've got to just dry everything.
Okay,
give me a second.
Not a problem. I'm going to mute you. You're gone. All right, so we had a question in regards to shipping, how to ship a painting. Like I said, we got a video coming out for that. Sammy and I did that one. Somebody was asking about the next auction. Our next auction we hope to have in October, and hopefully do maybe another one in November, right before the holiday seasons. We'll try to get 2 more in before the end of the year.
So I'm going to rinse this and rinse the brush. I got into the blue by mistake, and that's just, I need to put some fresh white out. It's gotten contaminated, and so what's happened is now I'm adding colors I don't want into my white. I don't think this is open enough. Oh no, it isn't. There we go.
Is that the one Daniel opened?
Yeah, boy, it's not open at all. You know, nothing's coming out of it. There we go. All right, so a little bit of yellow oxide and white, I think, is about the color I want on here, like this. There we go. And you know, sometimes if you find you've got the wrong color, just stop and dry it. Let's take a little bit of Cad Red Medium in yellow, make a little tiny bit of orange color to that, like this. Let's just say this is coming under here like this. Using a little 3/8 inch brush now. And again, you're not going to see much of this. This is all tree behind here between these two things. So I'm just kind of making these little colors. So, yeah, so anyway, it just takes us a while to do the editing on that stuff. We've done a bunch of stuff. We have 2 cameras that we shoot on for our lessons. And we can do just so many at any one given time. Okay, so a little bit of yellow here. Okay, and I think I want something that looks a little bit like burnt sienna. So I'm going to make an orange color, add a little purple. Now, that's good. Now I'll put a little white with that. And that's a better color. It's almost a flesh tone, really, on the inside of this house right here. And then this other side is more orange. Take a little magenta with that yellow. Make a brighter orange. This part is very red here, like that. There we go. We need to just separate these colors. Okay, so that, and then this roof has got to be a little bit darker red here, like that. Like that. There we go. So we're going to just start adding the colors that we need there. Okay, so those are a little how. Let's just get this like that. Make sure this is a straight line. And there's, generally speaking, when you're doing stuff like this, there's generally a little dark line here under the roof. And just take a little angle here. Now this is all going to be tree here. It's tree here. And there was a little bit of, there was a dormer here. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see this. There was a dormer right here. And we'll put it in, right? We'll put the dormer in. And that's fine. I don't mind putting the dormer in. And let's extend the roof a little bit this way. So probably what happened is that these houses were very close to touching, all right? It's very small. All right, I got to dry that. You guys, when you're doing stuff this small, you got to dry all the time, or all your colors go muddy. So drying again. Hello? Eugene, yes?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. All right, she's off and running. I'm watching the conversations going by about getting the best prices on art supplies. Ginger and I do the same thing. We got to buy all our stuff just like you guys do, and we look for the best bargains we can get. Jerry's usually has good deals, and you're right on Michael's. Their canvases aren't always the best, but they're cheap for what we're doing. We're just showing you guys how to use them.
All right, I'm back. I'm suggesting there's another little house here, like that. If there's something in here like this, and lightening up this house again. Everything's always about layers. Just about layers, and lighten this area up here. And you know, when you dry acrylics, they dry darker. So you just are sure you're fine, and then you're not. All right, let's get back into our greens again. And a little bit of purple with that. There we go. Now we're going to say that we've got a nifty tree coming up in front of this house. Put a little brown with that tree. A little bit more ultramarine blue. Now we're saying that there's our little tree in front of this house, in front of this one. All down here like that. There's this little tree. Doesn't have to be too perfect. Let's get a little bit of purple with that. Get it slightly darker. Okay, I'm going to say there's a little tree here. And it actually comes behind the house. And then there's another one right here. See, that's next to this house. And it's coming up a little bit taller. Kind of where my chalk was. See? Cute, right? And then this stuff is up behind here like this. All right, you see that, okay? And then now we've got more tree here. And I guess there was a gray roof. I didn't see that, but I'm seeing it now. It's amazing when I look at stuff. Sometimes I'll see it, and I didn't see it before. There's some sort of gray roof on there, so let's take a little red and purple and white. Make this gray roof here, like that. There we go. There's another little house right there. See, that gives you the scale of what it is. You know, when you put something like a house in, and you know, you do a few windows and stuff like that, it gives you the scale of what's here. Now, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to suggest there's some tree branches. I'm going to do, whoops, that's not going to work. How about white? Now, let's try it again.
Hey, we'd like to thank Miss Brooke for a donation, and she mentioned, how about a trivia question?
Oh yeah, let's do a trivia question where we're putting this in. Absolutely. In case those of you who have never played with us before, what we like to do is we not only do we talk about the old masters and what they did, we actually play art trivia and go back and really learn a little something. It's called Beat the Artist, but most of you guys beat me all the time. So we're gonna just roll the dice. John's gonna. Oh, it's a 1, John.
Ooh, we've not had a 1 in ages. We have up to 6
different categories, and John's, and it's called Stump the Artist. Okay. So that's what we're doing here, right?
Number 1. That's a who.
That's a who. Oh, no, it's a who.
It's a
I'm
who.
not very good at those who things.
Oh, you'll love this one.
Yes. And, oh, I'm afraid. You've got me afraid now. It's a hooser, right? It's a hoosie. It's a doozy of a hoosie. You used to say that, doozy? It's a doozy?
Which French king had Leonardo da Vinci come to the French court? Which French king had Leonardo da Vinci come to the French court?
Now, I'm going to just kind of whine a little bit. All our little friends in Europe, you know, they learned all this in school, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, the only thing we ever learned in school about history was they talked about George Washington from 1st to 12th grade, and apparently nothing else happened in the rest of the world that the American school system felt that they needed to tell you about, except a couple of wars, right?
He chopped down a cherry tree.
And yeah, and they just kept going on and on about it, right? So I don't know, John. I mean, I remember that Leonardo da Vinci
Would you like me to give you some choices?
Yeah, give me some choices.
How about Henry IV? How about Napoleon? How about Franciscus I? So,
Well,
which French king had Leonardo da Vinci come to the French court?
well, I'll tell
Henry
you what,
IV?
I can tell you who it wasn't. Napoleon.
Napoleon?
Yeah, that's not the ice. Napoleon's the ice
That's
cream.
the ice cream.
Napoleon
ice cream
is the
dude?
guy. He's the dude, right?
And Franciscus I.
All right.
And my question is, why do they call him to the court? Was he
Well,
driving too fast? Run a stoplight? I mean, what's going on?
Oh, I think they wanted him to paint something.
Well, that to me would be more, why would they want him there? That's what I'd rather know. All right,
Yeah.
the answers are coming in, honestly, question mark. Sorry.
So you know what I said? The Americans.
We don't mess,
who?
we don't pick them, people. Oh, I guess we do. Franciscus, I was wrong, LOL. Napoleon, Henry, Franciscus, Henry, I'm guessing, Franciscus,
Henry the what?
Henry IV.
Henry was the English king, wasn't he?
I'm sorry, I went to an American school. We did not learn this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I went to school in Switzerland. We covered a little bit of it,
LOL.
but not enough.
I'm not sure who the king LOL is. LOL.
All right.
Franciscus, Napoleon. Okay, guys, it's not the ice cream. We gave you that one. No ice cream involved here.
Okay, so I'm going to lighten this grass up here. See what I'm doing here?
Franciscus, Napoleon. You're doing a great job.
Is it, I'm lightening it up
Oh, I
here.
think King Henry was English. That's what Bonnie says.
Hey, yeah, I thought
Franciscus,
Henry
I
was.
hope.
Yeah, I thought Henry was.
Franciscus.
It's got to be the other guy then.
Franciscus 3 times.
Yeah, it's got to be
No
him
French
then.
name
Because
here.
Henry VIII was a.
Henry IV. Napoleon was not a king. Oh, see, there's a trick question. See,
Yeah,
some
no,
of these
he
people are educated.
I know, it just makes the rest of us look bad. And they probably speak more than one language too. It's just also sad, isn't it? All right, that's
All right, people, this is it. Franciscus won.
Yay, we did it by elimination.
Yes, so if you got that, give yourself 1,000 points on your way to 10 million or whatever I said before.
Remember, I said this was going to be the darkest tree here. Remember, guys, I said that? This was our darkest tree.
I like that question.
I like that. It was a good question.
I'd be better off with ice cream too.
You know. Did you ever see, Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, and there came out an article back in the late 90s. Now they can X-ray pictures and so forth. They think that it was actually a portrait of himself as a spoof.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and in drag, that's right. And it's just because the bone.
So that's why he went to court.
And then, he was just, he invented all kinds of stuff. Just amazing man, just so smart, just really smart guy. All right, so this is our little landmass, which is kind of cute, right? Yeah.
Gail's
Now,
up
as
to
long as we're into
11,000
this
points.
green colors, right? We know we've got a boat that's coming here like this. This was what was a little misleading. We've got this as I almost got to put my glasses on to see what I'm painting.
I
But he
almost
put
have to
this-
put them on.
I almost had to, and then I did.
That's such an interesting statement.
All right, so we've got a boat here, and this is he barely painted this boat. It's this light, almost. There's like boat, right? That's what he did right there. It was a really light. It's got a little white in it. It's got a little phthalo blue in it, like a little yellow. It was a very bright, kind of almost celery green. Right here. Here's the boat. And there was a little bit of that color over here too. I'll just put that on the walkway. And then there was this dark color. We got to play with the greens here. This is a good example of green. Then it got very dark up above the boat. Remember, because this is how you get the contrast. And it was very dark right here. Okay. I'm just following what he did, and then I'm going to do a few little lines here like this. Okay. All right, I know that's hard. If you've zoomed in, that's hard to tell that's a boat. What else you got? Oh, listen, we got a giftie in the mail today. And also...
Oh, yeah, I brought it up.
Yeah, we got a giftie in the mail. A big box came to our P.O. box, and I think, did you order anything? I didn't order anything, and somebody gave us this giftie. We have got to share this giftie with you. It was so nice. And here's our light color under the boat. I think this is coming under here like that. Not sure what that's about, but there it is.
No. Look at your fingers.
Well, where's my tub of towels? I need my tub of towels.
Next to you on the right.
Is it? Oh, so it is. Oh, here it is. All right, so have dirty fingers. This is how we solve this.
We grab our tub of towels.
We grab our tub of towels, and I've just put this. Look at this. So what he's just don't walk away.
I'm just walking out of a camera ring.
Oh well, all right. But look, see now, look at that. Wow. Gee, you'd think I've been swimming in it, wouldn't you?
No comment from the peanut gallery.
All right. Well, yeah. So anyway, what were we talking about before we talked about gifties?
I have no idea. Do you think I listen to you? Are you crazy?
No, you're trying to keep track of questions. I understand, John. It's you just take it easy. You just follow along, slow and easy. You'll catch up. It'll be all right.
Sock folders rule.
In laundries. All right. So, but this is the real world cupcake. All right. This was the gift. This came in the mail today. This is fine. What? It's fine.
Yes.
I know.
Okay, I handed it to you when we were making dinner,
and I got flour all over it. All right, here it is. Look at this, you guys. Isn't this cute? This was such a surprise to open this today. This is a Monet Percy thing. See? Look at that. With a
Monet
strap.
Percy thing.
And then we thought we could put, that gift that Daniel gave us with the
paints.
With the paints. We thought these would go perfect in here. And look, here's remember our almond blossoms that we have? That's the painting that we have on YouTube. And here's a journal for painting. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? And this came from, beautiful card. I love it. It says, don't you think it almost sounds like being invited to like the palace? And it says, you're the shit. And then it says, and I mean that in the nicest way. Thank you for the art, inspiration, and the instruction and the philosophies, and you brightened my life. And so I thought I would brighten yours. And this comes from Linda D. So thank you so much, Linda. You can't know, this was such a wonderful surprise.
Oh, it was just perfect.
And it was perfect. And it's just perfect because when we travel, we're trying to go light with the art supplies, and this is perfect. We can put everything in there. We really love it. And let's see, where am I doing here? It'll come to me.
Oh,
all right,
we need instructions for this. Okay.
Thank you. That's gorgeous. This is Monet. Speaking of Monet's water lilies, see?
Right
so,
there.
Thank you.
No, thank you for not getting it painted.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. So picky. Isn't he so picky? All right, so it's going to carry paint. What does he think is going to happen to it? You guys, right? You guys, what does he think is going to happen to it? Don't go with my stuff. All right, so I want to just keep going with our picture here. So far it's kind of cute though, right? So we know that. What do we know for sure? This is one of the things you have to ask yourself when you're painting something like this is, what do we know for sure? Well, we know that we've got a little sail that's coming this way, and it goes below this house like this at an angle. It's a little triangle on its side like that, okay? So we're going to take some white and yellow oxide because it's not a white sail. No pun intended. There you go. So like this, and then we're going to go. It's not a white sail.
So funny.
All right, there you go. There's the sail. Okay. And I think I've got this is on kind of curves like that, see? Like this at an angle. And then if you're not sure, there's something very dark underneath it, like this, so it sort of shows up, see? Like that. That's the sail. The sail is not going anywhere. Does that make sense? They've put the sail down to moor it, dock it, whatever they've done with the boat, right? They've docked the boat. So here's our light green again, coming here. Let's just get our second coat of light green right there for the boat. And now we've got this mast that's going to come up here. Now, if you're not sure how to paint that, I know sometimes, dry everything. At this point, don't put the mast up till you've dried everything. Don't do what I just did. All right, so what you can do is you can take a straight edge like this. Here's one of these little clear triangles. We got this on Amazon. I really like it because it's, you can see through it. All right, I'm going to say that this mast is going right, maybe right here. I guess it goes right here at the edge of the boat here. I'm going to just take my, it goes over the top of the house, like that. And it's just sort of kind of a light. There, okay? So that's kind of a nice way to get something that's straight up and down, right? So there it is. And then there's more. Yeah, there's more. There's a little bit of orange kind of sand color here with a little purple in it to make it more sandy. And then there's like a little bit of like sand color right here. Okay, that's kind of on this side of the mast.
Here's a question for you. How old does a dead guy have to be in order to not have problems with copyrights?
100 years. 100 years. 100 years.
And when he's saying it's 70 years after their death.
Yeah, it's 100 years after their
70 years after their death,
after
or
they
100
painted,
years?
After they painted it, not after their death. It's after they painted it. It's 100 years after they painted it, not after their death. So if something was painted in 1954, you can't paint it. Like, for instance, Georgia O'Keeffe is a wonderful artist, and she's dead, but you can't paint her stuff without. I mean, you could personally, but I couldn't teach it to you. Though, now here's the caveat: if you were a member of my Ginger Cook Live Academy of Fine Art and you wanted to paint a Georgia O'Keeffe, all you'd have to do is paint it and send it to me, and I could make comments on how to make it better, because that's going to your house. But as far as the copyright goes, that's what we're talking about.
That.
I can't teach that. All right. So here's a little bit of this orange now. Now we're going to start putting some color in. We're going to put a little bit of orange right here, coming down like this. And let's take a little bit of orange and yellow, like cad red medium and yellow. And we're going to come down here with this let's mix that a little more. A little bit of white. Here. All right. So we're going to come down here with these. Now here's the trick, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. And then change colors, add a little more light to it, maybe a little bit more yellow oxide to this color. And then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, something like that. The trick to doing these, and then something that's a little bit more orange, it's almost a sherbet color here, and I'm going to bring it down a little further, and then we're just going to drop it down here, and it's straight, okay? Comes up here, and there's a little darker line up here, a little bit redder. Now we've got in here, as long as we're putting in the reflections, in here we've got these greens that we made, okay? So let's paint, let's see, a little more yellow, put it into these greens, and we're going to say that let's just bring some greens down in our water like this, just back and forth, keep it level, all right? You want to keep it level. And then I'm going to say, come over here and say that there's some green, just kind of skip a space, and you just get one shot at this, kind of skip a space and get there. And then I'm going to say that here's some greens in here, like that, okay? And you can't always do it all at once. That's the trick. You can't always do it all at once, but let's make this tree a little bit bigger here. Make it a little darker. Okay, like that. Because remember, this was our darkest tree here, like that. There's our little big tree. And then we're saying that that's this tree here in the water. Then we're going to say that there's some trees, some sort of greenery here, which is actually, fairly large, like this coming up here. Then the rest of this back over here is boats. So I wanted to just kind of get this part done. So I want to come under here with some dark green, under this boat, like that, and maybe indicate that that might be a, he kind of curved the front of this like this. It's curving like that. There's the front of this. And then here's some white underneath it.
Mary would like to know, when doing water reflections, how accurate should it be?
Well, Monet wasn't particularly accurate. He was just suggesting, you know what I mean? It's a mirror image of what you're doing. In this case, depends on whether you're doing Impressionism or photorealism. In this case, can you back out a minute? I'm going to show the painting of our Wave and Water, right? Depends what you're painting. And our Wave and Water Masterclass for this month, every month our Wave and Water Masterclass gets a new one. Now look how they're very accurate with these reflections. We've got this water wheel, this old mill coming, and you see how that in this case, the reflections are darker than what they're reflecting. See that? They're darker. Depends on the time of day and the light and everything.
That's also the water, because he portrayed
water.
that water very dark and green.
And the water was very dark and green. And see, and then we have all the swirls, but you can see we've got this reflection and so forth, a little bit of in here. Sometimes if the water's really muddy and stuff, you don't see much of anything. Depends on the light. This is why reference photos are important. Don't make it up. Okay?
It'll get you in trouble.
Yeah, so now we're going to come back again with, we're going to let that just sit for a minute. We have more reflections to put in, but you can't put wet red over wet green because we're going to go over this again, you guys. This is the other reason why you want to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done it, do it now. Like that, it's going to be more insistent. Red is opposite green on the color wheel, and when you mix the two together when they're wet, when you lay a wet red over a green or a green over a red or pink or something, your colors go muddy. So this is, you have to dry these, okay? So in that time, since we're not going to dry them, what we're going to do next is just going to sharpen this pencil. And I want to come up here. I'm going to use my, what was it? Here. I'm going to do my triangle. Now my sail is coming here. There's a boat that's coming here, like this. This is a triangle. This is kind of like this. It kind of curves like that. There's this one, right? And then it's going to come up about this tall. So I'll use my straight edge here. Come over here about like that and say, yay, like this, right? There's my line. These are Conte pencils, by the way. Now, look, we're going to come in here. This is going up at an angle here, like this. And then you've got this sail right here, coming this way. And then you've got a boat under here, like this. That's just, boats are pretty simple. They've been doing them the same way for years, okay? Got this sail, and we're going to have some reflections coming down here. So if you're not sure, if you want to do yourself a few little dots, it's going to come down this way, right? Now we're coming next to this, and this is just a triangle. This is pretty easy. It's about half that size. And boy, he really just sort of had fun with this. He said that was a boat. Very odd sail, but I wasn't there, so I don't know. I wasn't there. I really hate that boat right there, you guys. I just can't do that boat. I'm sorry. Look at that. That just doesn't even look like a boat, does it? It just looks like a teepee on the water. I'm sorry, right? Listen, he was painting live. It probably didn't work out. Let's just fix that. Let's put this boat in here instead. I say let's just change that. I could really do well without that boat like that. Let's just put one like this. Let's say there's another boat here and a smaller one. I'm sorry. Sometimes you got to make a Reader's Digest edit. You know what I mean? You got to make an edit and say, you know what, that isn't working for me. I don't know what you thought you were doing, but as fun as it is, I don't like it. And that's got to be okay, even if it's one of my pictures. Maybe you want to put it back. It's okay. I'm just saying that you got to give yourself permission. It's not like you're rewriting the Bible or something, you can't, it's just taking Shakespeare and adding new paragraphs. We're not talking about that. Though probably a little bit like that, but not completely. All right.
Hey, Andrew made it in tonight. He blew in tonight, as they say.
Oh, hey, Andrew. Andrew lives in Haiti. He has a beautiful home in Haiti, and I know the storms are swirling around. So best wishes, Andrew. I'm looking for the next bigger brush. I want that one. Here, how about this one? This is a 3/8 inch. All right, so back here. I'm telling you what, this has been the time for hurricanes. I've never seen anything like it. So I hope our friends in Florida got their power back again. Some people still do not have internet. Hey, Nancy, John's sister is okay. Want to shout out to Nancy? She's okay. Give her a big shout out. John, you should have shouted out before me. I'm just saying, it's your sister.
I did when we came on. When she was still, I think she dropped off. I don't know if they lost it or what. But she's disappeared.
You didn't tell me.
That's okay. She knows that our minds and hearts and thoughts are with her.
Well, they are. They're with everybody that's gone through this. I mean, we went through it here in Houston, but we were fortunate in that we weren't one of the ones that, you know, some of the ones, a lot of people lost their homes, everything in Houston, their apartments, their houses, everything flooded. It was just terrible. So we're saying that there's a little boat here coming this way. It's almost the same color as this sail. I'm going to put this sail up right like this. I think I'll just spray the...
Somebody asked several hours ago,
Yeah.
what is the best size to paint if you want to sell your art?
I told everybody that. Are you having a senior moment?
No, I was probably reading the chat and wasn't listening to the conversation. So
Apparently
she
not.
probably wasn't either. So why don't you just tell us the one size? If I had to pick one size, what size would I want to paint? One size.
You'd probably, if you want to sell it, I would say about at least 24 by 30.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, was that hard?
Now, you can sell small stuff, but nobody wants to give you any money for it. And you can't charge, by the way, you can't charge by the hour for your stuff. Nobody cares if you were incompetent. They're not paying for your incompetence.
Oh, that's,
right? I'm
that's
sorry.
such a nice way to put that,
But
isn't
that's
it?
but I see so many artists. Well, I have so many hours in here. Here's what you charge for. All right. Here's what you charge for. You charge for your materials. You know, even if it's a relative, somebody has to buy this stuff, and unless you just feel like that's their Christmas present or something, somebody has to buy this stuff. That being you. So I'm going to say that there's a little boat back here somewhere. Here like that. So we're just having some
here
boats.
we go with this question again. How far away does an object have to be before it doesn't cast a reflection? Is there a rule?
No. Depends on the light, the time of day, whether that's why you have reference photos. You quit making
Don't make
it
this
up.
stuff up, people. There's reality out there.
You have reference photos. You have cameras. You're sitting with camera phones. Some of the best phones on the planet are now in your possession. I mean, they went to the moon with a crummier computer than it's in your phone. You know that?
No. Can you believe that?
I mean, I'm just saying.
They should have waited.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm just saying
Hey,
that there's
Maureen
that.
would like to know, John, any more art lessons for you? No. She
well,
cut me off already.
It's not that. We just don't have time. Everybody keeps saying that, but there is no time. There's just no time. Now we're going to start putting some of these reflections in, and that's too yellow. So let me put some white over that.
Hopefully I'll get back to it.
Yeah, I mean, John intends to. All right, so we're going to
I get to paint the leftover paints. I do the backgrounds.
Yeah, he does a lot of the backgrounds for our small stuff. I'm going to choose. We need a little bit of a line in here like this, and there's some stuff back here. This, I don't know if it's a little bit of a landmass or what. Here's a little green. There's some stuff that's going back here in between. This is the lake sort of ends here, you guys.
It's the end of the world.
Here's our greens. You see where our greens are coming. Here's our greens coming here. Here now we can start putting some greens in here. Start moving around. Speaking of greens, you notice that we're not buying any greens, that we're mixing them. You see that, right? And I'm going to make this boat a little longer because I didn't have it quite long enough. Okay. We're mixing these greens, and one of the things about mixing greens is you have phthalo blue and you need to have ultramarine blue. And between those colors, you can mix about anything. And we've got a lot of great videos on YouTube on how to mix greens. In fact, I spend a lot of time talking about that. It's one of those things that's a good thing to do. All right, so here's some green here. Here's a couple, 1, 2, a little bit of green here. We'll put some blue back if we need to, like that. And we'll come back here, and I'm going to rinse the brush. He's got a little tiny guy.
He's standing up pulling the sail down.
He's got a little guy. I need my glasses even to see the little guy.
I see.
But Andrew, see, I'm using your little pot. This is from his little store in Labadee. One of his. He features artisans of Haiti.
I'll slide it over.
All right. So here's a little guy. We'll just take some brown.
I'm going to zoom in on that guy so now behave yourself.
All right. So all we got here, right, was here's the top of the boat here. I think I need some new brown out because it's need more brown. Where's the brown go? Here. Sometimes when your paint dries up, then it's real hard to do things, and you can see that this is sort of fun. I think this is such a good painting, you guys. I want to say, look how cute this is looking with this. See, almost could be the same. Look at that, see? You could keep it going, couldn't you?
Wait a minute, what are you showing?
This is the Monet.
Oh, okay.
This is the Monet that's already on YouTube, right?
Yep.
That we've done. But look how cute these would be together as a pair.
Well, yeah, we can't really do that.
You know, now that you see it. I mean, I know it was harder to see it. All right, so I'm going to come up here and just have a little brown, a little bit of water, a little bit of brown. It's almost a reddish brown, too. It's going to put a little red in it, a little orange in it. All right, so I'm going to come up here like this. Come back here on the boat. This you want to avoid a lot of detail. This is 1 or 2 strokes, and that's it. All right, like for instance, right here, he indicates there's a mast like that, and you barely see it, but there's a mast here, see? Indicates a mast, and then he indicated kind of a curve in the sail like that. Like that. Let's see, maybe I'll put a little bit of white and blue and sort of get this. There was almost a curve in the sail. So if you have to, just take some paint and kind of paint around this stuff, right? And then what's interesting to me is I'm going to change brushes because that one's too small. It's not doing anything. Here's my sail. What's interesting to me is it's not quite straight up. He had it curving a little bit back this way. Interesting. It's curving back like that. And then I'm going to just go over that again, make that a little smaller.
Speaking of weather, Maria, who lives in Colombia, says, come down here. There's no hurricanes, no tornadoes. There's nothing.
In Colombia? Oh, isn't that something? She's all the way from Colombia. Wow. Okay. Thank you. We appreciate that. All right, let's see if we can't put this guy in using just the corner of this. See if I can make kind of an orange color, orange-brown color. All right, I'm going to just put my glasses on and try and figure out what we're painting. Okay, so he's got, I mean, this is really small. So he's got some little legs, right, coming up here like that. And then there's a little box and a dot for the head. And a little arm coming up like this, almost like the letter K. So you don't really see much of him. He's just kind of there. And then he's going to be going to make him a little darker.
We have somebody on from Barbados, and they just got the tail end of Maria. I think we're quite an international family here.
I think so, too, and I think that's... I've been to Barbados, by the way. I went years ago when I was like 14 years old. I went on a teenage trip to Europe, and Barbados was one of the stops. It's beautiful, by the way. You guys have never been there. That's gorgeous. I still remember. It's like 14. All right, so I'm going to say that down from here... Here's our little guy, and here's a little shadow for about him, like that. But actually, it's probably... All right, so here's our little shadow. Now let's take a bigger brush. What do we got? Well, I like that big one I was working at the beginning. Let's get our white here in a little yellow oxide. This is our off-white. Now we're just saying, so here's the bottom of the boat. You've got to have some paint here. So remember that down here is the... See, that's the, then there's a wide one here. It's wide, see? These were big, bold, wide brush strokes. And then under here like that. 1, 2, 3. Gets a little narrower as it comes down this way. And it comes off the canvas like that, see? And then these all are wide enough where they kind of intersect. Back in here like that. And then the same thing with this one. There was a little something down here like this. Just kind of rub that out. Just kind of smudge that. And we've got same color, but we've got some kind of almost a peach with a little bit of white and that orange in it, like a peach color.
We'd like to thank Kim for the donation, and she's asking, still wondering if you'd consider doing a mountain scene with pandas. I think there's a few here that agree. Thanks for all your wonderful teachings.
Oh, mountain scene with pandas.
I think we discussed the pandas, and they are on the list.
Of the pandas. I think I love pandas. Of course, we're
Well,
bear people. You can tell that, right? Or
We love
we're
our
people
bears.
that we love our bears, right? So I'm going to come over here like this. I want a little bit of this orange back over here. See, start putting some color, a little bit of orange color here. See? Now we're just what he did here was he just, there was a little bit of orange color right here. We still have to put this other sail in. Here's the whole longer picture. See? There's a whole longer picture, but we're just doing a little bit of an edit. And I'm going to just go ahead and say that there's this, this brush carries so much more paint on it, so much easier to use. I like this one. Okay, so I'm going to say that we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to come down here like this, and then, see, and the same thing this one. Let's just do,
Looks like once again you've taken on the masters and won.
there you go. We're just going to suggest that that's that right there. And there you go. Let's just come across here like this. Now, let's make this one a little bit more. Remember, we did that before, and I'm just going to use the... Come on, isn't that easier? That's really nice, isn't it? Now look here, I'm going to come straight down here like this, and just sort of wiggle it a little bit now. Just going to wiggle my... There, see? Like that. Well, that's crooked. See, this is the part where we missed the straight down here part, see? Okay? So, that's not straight. Wow, well, that's why I had that straight edge. I'm gonna take that off. This is why you dry, you guys. All right, where'd that silly straight edge go? I have my glasses on. Can't see
Can
a
you
thing
get that?
out
I
of
think
them.
you have another white smudge over there before that dries. Yeah,
Yeah, good.
thank you.
Yeah, where'd
No,
that
I don't know
straight
where the
edge
ruler
goes?
is.
Well, I don't know either. Here, I found a ruler. Not quite as good, but... Well, where'd that silly one go? I need that one. Maybe if you all saw it. It was here a little while ago. Here. It's it's clear. It's like camouflaged, right? So I'm going to come up here, hold it down here. If it's this tight here, this has to be straight, right? Here's like this. I'm going to just give myself some room. Better. Better. Now what we're going to do is going to go back here with our colors of our water. Yeah, everybody's with me? A little bit of ultramarine blue, right? Now you got to start breaking up your stuff. Take your blue back. Did you get carried away with your stuff? Huh?
Would
start
Ginger,
breaking up your
Ginger
stuff.
consider making a master class of just painting horses?
Of horses. Yeah, I thought about that if we had more time. I might, what I would consider doing, tell me if you think this would be good. We would just have 10 lessons maybe, and that you just get that, and then when you were done, you were done. What do you think? We just do 10 rather than, like our Wave and Water is ongoing. Every month we do some sort of, we do something new. We give you guys something new. Here, let's put a little bit of darker color now here. See, remember, we're breaking up, and he had these big lines coming across here like this in the water. See, now we're breaking up the mast. See, isn't that fun? So if you got it too big, you just don't panic about it. All right, well, look at that. I think that's kind of cool. And then you had some darker ones, really did have a little bit of blue. There's some darker ones in here like this. Just, there we go, I've got to put those in here. Just, they're a little weird, but he put them in, so we're putting them in, right? It's not, I wouldn't do it this way, but it's all right. We're not, that's all right. He put them in. All right, there's some darker ones here. And then he had these gray ones, which is, gray is ultramarine blue, cad red medium, and white. That's how you make some really good gray. All right, and it's a very, you can even put a little yellow in it. There you go. More gray. Of course, you could use just Payne's gray and white too, but let's put a little tiny magenta in that. There was a little bit of magenta, believe it or not, in this. Not that much, but there was some. So you see how I just keep moving over when I'm not getting the color I want? I just keep moving over. That's the trick. I don't keep playing with that. I know I can't get where I want with that color, so I'm just moving. All right, there we go. Ah, here we go, you guys. Here's our lighter colors here, light gray, kind of, that's our cloud color. See that? This is what we talk about layering. This is all about layering. There, I think we're pretty close here. And just as I'm talking about, tell me what you think about this. We can't always do, our goal is to be live every week. Sometimes we can't. I try to give you some interesting lessons. Next week, this is a pre-recorded lesson, all right? I think that this is going to be next Tuesday, all right? Not tomorrow night, but next Tuesday. Where is it? And I made this big announcement. All right, let me just show it to you. What do you guys think of that? This is from another old dead artist in 1878, and the title of it is Fairyland. And you see this is an angel kind of, or a fairy, and all these flowers and everything. Isn't that cool? Kind of reminds me of a Cher in the hippie days, right? And there's actually, the original painting was twice this long, and her skirt comes down. I'll show you how to paint this, because once you see this, if you look up the original, adding the rest of it is just more of these lines. It's really pretty. So you can make it this size, or you can make it even longer. And that's going to be next week. We wanted you to see that, all right? And for our members, next week, this week, where's this? This week, for our members, remember last week we got the harder paintings. We try to do a 1 cookie, a 2 cookie. This is a 1 cookie back to basic lesson on greens. This is from one of our photographs when we were in Cozumel. This is called a Cozumel orchid. And this is the painting that's going to be a 1 cookie lesson on our website for our members, being released this week. You guys, we also do and a lot of interesting things on greens. We've got that. And then next week, for our members, we've got this one. I love this. This is another old dead artist guy. And look at the blues in this.
The turquoise.
The turquoises. It just reminds me of the ocean. Isn't that beautiful? Andrew should like this. Particularly
Did you do all the your standard palette on that, or does it have special paints in there?
Well, no, this is not special. This is the standard palette, but we went more blue-green. And it's interesting. This would be very pretty in a tropical place like where Andrew lives, particularly big.
Oh, yeah.
I think this would be gorgeous. I love that. So a beach house or something, these turquoises and blues. Isn't that gorgeous? This is an artist. His whole life he just painted flowers, and we talk about him. We learn a lot about the masters. And of course, you guys, if you're liking greens, remember last week live we did this painting. If you haven't done this, this is on YouTube right now. This is a great painting. All right, so let's talk about the last thing we need to do with this picture. I think we've done pretty well with it. Don't you guys think so?
I think you have done marvelous. Well, going back to your horse questions, yes.
Yeah, I think we could do that, but I think that you'd like to do that. I think I'd rather just do like 10 horse paintings or something. All right, so I need more white. Where? Here. Okay, and remember we had a little bit of this kind of, oops, I'm just going to throw that out of the way. A little bit of that kind of that lavender color. I want to come back up in here like this, because he did. Right? Remember, your eye goes to the lightest light and the darkest dark, and there's just sort of these lavender clouds right here. And then even here like this, there's just some sort of clouds that are, let's see, more grayed too. Let's just gray that a little bit. And we had these kind of clouds that came up here like this. Use the side of the brush like this. And maybe just give those another look, right? All right, those are our clouds like that. So that's a little bit lighter. We wanted it a little bit lighter behind here with a couple little, 1, 2 with the white. Very little. There was just this tiny little bit. And let's come up here a little bit. Now, remember I told you that this sail here needs another little light coat of paint, like that. And I need maybe even more white than I just did on the top of here, like that, from this one. And this was a very out of focus kind of fun painting, and it just didn't have that much detail, and I thought you guys would like doing it just for that very reason. He did do, let's see, where's the...
Monet's was in oil, correct?
Yeah, his was in oil, and of course nothing dried, and they'd go out on location, and so they had to keep it kind of simple. And this was a really nice thing. We're going to put a few little windows in the house like that. Like that. There were some windows here.
Yeah, we'll come up with the 10 lessons for the horsies and get that.
And we'll do that. We'll just do
We'll
that.
do that.
Something
I think
you
that's a
can
good
do.
way to do that.
We could do that. We just, you know, we've got the we'll need some more light green here as we're talking. Need some more light green down in here too. Just maybe some yellow oxide with it. There we go. So let's get some green coming across some of this down in here like that.
When did acrylics become widely available?
Well, when I first started painting in the 60s, about 1964 with acrylics,
They were just
they just hit the market, and they just hit the market. They were they were invented by the story of how the acrylics got invented was to me very interesting, because there was a really good, I don't know his name, but there was apparently a very famous oil painter, and you know there's oil paints have their own hazards. Let's just put it that way. They have their own hazards. See, acrylics dry darker, so that's too dark now. And this doctor told this gentleman that he mustn't ever paint anymore because the oil paints were killing him, basically, what they said.
Yeah, the 50s they were invented, but the general public got them in the early 60s.
Yeah, they were, yeah. So, but anyway, so he was told not to paint anymore, you know. And so his neighbor was a chemist, and he said, listen, he worked for a paint company. He says, I will make a paint that won't kill you, I promise, and I will do that. You know what this is over here, you guys? I'm just seeing that. This is a little rowboat back here. Look at that. Huh. I mean, that's detail for you. That's dedication. And there were some few people over here, too, but we're not going to put them in. All right, so we've got, I would say that was, I think that's pretty good, don't you think, for our Monet? So, yeah, that's something that, you know, we want to do. And also, besides the horses, and I love horses. You know, I grew up, horses are some of the best things I paint. It's just there's not a big, I got to tell you this, not that I'm trying to kill my sales here, but there's, you know, most people want horses for themselves. If you're going to sell horse paintings, I've got to hang out at horse shows. You got to get good enough where you paint people's horses or kind of general horses. I mean, I love horses. We've got a lot of horse paintings on our website right now. There's probably 4 or 5 horses on there now, at least 3.
Yeah, but we want the master ones now.
All right, I'm going to just move this for a second. Somebody asked about our village pieces. This is the newest ones. John's getting ready to get these up this week. These are the candy shop.
They are currently available. You can go to Vimeo. If you search for us, you can find them there.
You can find these right here? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Matter of fact, nope, I don't have the link anymore.
And we just didn't get the link on the website, but you can go to Vimeo. If you've been collecting it, here's our bakery. I think we're missing a few here, John.
I only handed you a handful because you're pretty crowded tonight.
Yeah. So here's we've got the hotel or the church depending, and we've got the gazebo. We've got 7 in the collection. These are darling. Wait till they're all painted on the sides. You can stand them up like this and keep them like as little displays, you know, like for holiday decorations. And we've got them out in time for you to decorate for Christmas. And John and I talked about this. There's 7 of these in the collection. And we were thinking about, just for the fun of it, for this Christmas, we normally never do this, but for this Christmas, we might offer my complete set of original paintings for sale for just one price, not put it up for an auction or anything. But if somebody thinks they might be interested, we'll send you a quote of, you could buy the entire set of 7 if you want to just give those to somebody for Christmas.
Or keep them
original
yourself.
Ginger Cooks. Okay?
You
We
might wanna
normally
keep
wouldn't
them.
sell those. We thought that might be a nice thing to do if somebody wants to do that. So, all right, I would say this is our deal. I think if you want to look this painting up, you can see where we kind of took the teepee one out. Sorry. I mean, it just looked like a teepee to me, you know, but then when I was doing this water wheel painting, I mean, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out it was a water wheel. I mean, I was looking at the guy going, what is that? What is that? You know? Sometimes you ever heard the expression, you've got to have been there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have been there.
You should have been there.
Yeah, and I'm going to just move this for a second, John. This out of the way. This is our palette. It's kind of a pretty palette too, isn't it? I like all these colors, these turquoises and these teals. Now I want to just show you here again. This other painting's on YouTube. So I think you could make a case for you know, painting these, you know, together. And if you wanted to do that, what you might do, if you were going to make this go to that, you might get some of this blue, even though it's not in this one originally, you might put it over here, and you could really make these where they could go together.
Oh, so you're showing things. I have the palette still in the way. There we go.
Like this, all right? So what I'm talking about, you see how we've got a little teal in here? What you might want to do, if you wanted to have these as a pair, is put a little of that color over here. Think about that when you're thinking about doing a pair of paintings, because look, you could almost do, it's almost like an island, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Not
it really
quite.
is.
I mean,
Look at that.
if you put it this way,
Yeah.
or if you did it like that, and just had it has the two different paintings. But you know, and a Kish, you could make this 8 by 10, you know, 9 by 12 too, and then you'd have. I think that size would be a little better. Those are cute. Some people will, of course, buy small paintings, but again, the number one rule that people ask is how do people buy artwork? They buy here's the deal. They'll buy their paintings for the living room, the dining room, the master bedroom, maybe the entry hall, and after that they're probably buying prints unless they're related to you or they're really rich. Then they might decorate their whole house with original paintings. But most people, if they have one original, they're very proud of it, they'll keep it for years. But you as artists can change your artwork out for the seasons, all right? You can put the winter ones up and the summer ones up. This is fun. I mean, you can take, you know,
Seasonal paintings.
Seasonal paintings, absolutely.
That's what we need to do.
Seasonal paintings. I mean, we kind of do it anyway.
Yeah,
when
we
I
do.
was a kid, you guys remember this. When I was a kid, I remember people getting slipcovers for their sofas, and they'd have like a velvet winter, dark winter sofa, and then when summer came, on went the flower, zipped on the slipcovers on the sofa, and you turn the living room into summer. They don't do that
Instantly.
anymore. People
No.
still do that with bedspreads. They have the winter look. You're trying to shock Jerry doesn't know this, but there are a lot of people that do that. They have their winter look for their
Oh, that's just
bedroom
ridiculous.
and the summer look. No, it isn't.
Oh,
it's
that's
really
silly.
reasonable. And, you know, just like you would with your outfits, right? You have your fur coats for the winter, no? With the nice fake furry warm things. And then you've got the summer things, you know. So you could do that with your paintings, too.
Uh-huh.
Ah, yeah. So any last questions before we say good night on this?
Before we say goodnight on this?
Yeah, put our palette back. Any other
No, you don't need to
questions?
put the palette. Get the palette out of there. We're done with the palette. Get the palette out. Put
Okay.
the picture back squarely where it was.
Okay.
I had it all lined up. You go messing things up again.
I'm going to sign mine.
I wish you would.
I'm going to sign it.
That means you're done with it.
Yeah, that
Once
means
she
I'm
signs
done.
and puts that red slash through it, it's done. No
Yeah.
more going back.
Yeah, no more going back. Where'd the red slash go? I've got a piece of red here somewhere. All right, there. I'll put a little red slash through the name. There you go.
There you
There.
go. It's done. No more
It's done.
touching it.
No more touching it. We're done,
And you're
you
looking
guys.
at it. I can tell you were looking at it, weren't you?
Well, you know, what I always tell people to do is hold your painting up to a mirror, and then I want you to take a black and white picture of it. When you're done, it should have the same values as his. What I mean by that
Or
is,
improved on it, you know.
you know, improved on. But look, this is the darkest area of your picture right here, okay? And so you don't want it all flat, all one, you know, well, it just looks like gray when you're not using it, right? And you want to make sure you've made these boats kind of an off-white. Now, the other thing too is that they used lead paint, and so a lot of the colors that we see in some of these old masters may or may not be 100% accurate either. We can't be sure because they've oil paints are not like the Sphinx. They do not last forever. They do fade over time. Acrylics will last longer, by the way, than oil paints. 1,000 years when we're all dead, our acrylics will probably still be good.
Somebody wants to know, Cheryl wants to know, why is the sailboat pole taller in front of the house than the reference? Because Ginger wanted it to be.
I don't know because I don't have my glasses on, is it? No, it goes all the way up here, friends.
So
It
you
goes
can't
all the
really
way up
see it.
here.
Yeah,
You
it goes
can't
way
see
up.
it. In the reference, it goes up to the top of the tree. It's not as tall. Guess what? It goes way up
Yeah,
here.
nah,
Sorry.
nah, nah, nah.
It goes way up here, friends. I was just
Yeah,
didn't-
friends.
goes way up there. You know, sorry, it does. It goes way up there.
It's hard for you guys to see that little baby. All they're seeing is a little baby thumbnail. They can't,
Yeah,
they
you can't tell. It
Well,
goes-
here,
it-
let me just take that thumbnail for
It
half a
goes
second, blow
way
it up
up
big.
there. It could. What we could do
That's not
is
it.
just tone it
Gotta
down a
find
bit. It's a bit bright, And I could just take a little bit. Why did I just put that in paint? Gosh, I love that. Just so you had me move the palette. Now everything's messed up. All right, I'm gonna just.
Hey, you already signed it. You can't go back now.
I can't. I want to
no
just
take
tone
back.
it down. I just this is a
Oh,
yeah.
man.
I want to just I want to tone it down a little bit right here, just so it's not quite so bright. Just take a little bit of that raw umber, and just right here, barely.
As soon as she's done there, I'm going to blow up the picture for you, so you guys can see it big.
Just tone this down a little bit, because it's not. I've got it there. That helps a little bit.
All right,
it's a little
I'm going
bit
to blow
bright.
it up. There it is.
See,
There's the
you see
reference.
and it actually goes way up past the tree.
Yeah, look at it closely. You can see it. Going back.
I mean, it just does. Okay. There it goes, and it's actually, he has his is not straight up and down. I made mine straight up and down because my mask was straight up and down. But there's his boat, and he actually had, you could do a painting like this in an hour, and then you could spend another hour painting it. Because if I did this, I'd take some white paint on the bottom like this, with a little
Well, it's
bit
good
of
to know
yellow
that
in
once
it.
she signs, it's only 20 more minutes.
I'm just saying, I would just take some paint on the bottom like this, the bottom of this, because it's it's layers, right like that. See, the one's a little bit lighter there on the bottom. Those are the kinds of things you come back the next day and look at it. See what it's like. See what you can do with it. Come back the next day, and see how it is. That's what I would tell you to do. Because I put in every brush stroke that he put in? No, but I think we got the general idea. I think if you got it this far and you looked at the reference photo, you certainly could fill in a few other little lines of color that you think you might need, and you can freehand this in. I think it'll be fun. Hey, tomorrow night we're going to be talking about Rodin.
Who?
No.
Chardon.
Rodin.
Char. C-H. It's
What?
Chardon.
Chardon. That's it. Sorry, we're talking about Chardon. Rodin
What
was
is
the
with you the
sculpture
R's
guy.
today?
I don't
Apparently
know.
we have to
Rodin
do
was
an R paint. We're going to be looking up an R. That'll be next week's.
Rodin was the sculpture guy. We're doing Chardon, which was the French, very, very French Baroque painter who painted 100 years before Van Gogh and Renoir and those guys. He was the one that they copied. He was the artist that they copied. And Picasso all learned. When they went to art school, they learned his stuff. He was
I wonder where he learned his stuff from.
Well, he learned his stuff from probably Velázquez and those guys. This goes back a long way, a tradition of following it. Even Picasso went and did masters of Velázquez, the great Spanish painter. Our white rearing horse. We have some beautiful horse paintings on our website. The white rearing horse. You know where that is, John? Offhand?
No.
On the wall? No, he says no. He doesn't want to look for it.
No, you're now an hour 42 into it. We have a
Sorry.
great feed. Let's not jinx it here.
All right. So anyway,
We're done.
I'm just saying that Velázquez. That's the little white Lipizzan. Velázquez did that in 1500.
1500?
Yeah.
That white
Spain.
horse was 1500?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I always like to see what people were eating in 1500. I have to show you my book on Spanish art. It had the same donuts we eat today. Isn't that exciting? Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to learn what we can learn from the masters tomorrow night.
Learn what we can learn from the masters. With Ginger tomorrow, Tuesday, 7:30 Central. Don't be late. We will.
Thanks for hanging in there, and thanks for subscribing and liking us. And remember, any wonderful comments you leave will disappear after you go away. So you got to come back, and if you have something you want to make sure that I see, because I don't see anyone scrolling by, come back after the video has. What do we call that? What does it do? Whatever YouTube does to it for a few minutes.
They
before
process it.
They process it. That's what the word I'm looking for. Man,
It's a big word.
It's a big word. It's been a slow day, right? Slow day for Ginger. Anyway, after they process it, then you can come make fabulous comments, and I will try to comment back.
Maureen would like to know, is there a traceable for this?
No, there's not.
What, that T-shirt?
There's not a traceable for this, darling.
No. Come on,
Because
guys.
these are
Simple
triangles.
triangles.
These are triangles. So if,
It's
I
Monopoly
showed you
houses and triangles.
Monopoly houses and triangles. You really can't screw it up.
And nobody's going to know if you did. They won't see your reference. Say goodnight, Ginger.
Good night, guys. Good night, John. Good night, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks,
Art hugs
everyone.
from Houston.
Night, everyone.